everyone probably doesn't know. But I recently moved into a new apartment, and new apartments mean bookshelves and reorganizing everything. I have put up about half of my books. I had about 2 full bins of books that I hadn't put away yet, mostly because I don't know about like you guys, but when I finished school, I went to go get a lot of the other things from my childhood home. What I have that I haven't unpacked is from that. So if you guys care to watch, I'm gonna be redoing my bookshelf today. I'm gonna be talking about some of the books I've read, briefly when I read them. Most of the books on the floor here I have read. There's a handful of books that I haven't. Alright, let's get started. The first books we have are my hardback Cassandra Clare books. Not all of my Cassandra Clare books are hardback. Actually, most of them aren't. The rest of my Mortal Instruments books are softcover, and the rest of my Infernal Devices books are on my Kindle. I don't actually have physical copies of any of them, I don't think, other than book 2. So we're gonna find a home for these guys. We're just gonna we can take my diploma. My diploma doesn't really need to be on the bookshelf. Not really like I need to display that. I found City of Bones, so that's something. I got one. I might not even have all of the Mortal Instruments books, TBH. Aha! City of Ashes. Y'all should know this series. This is a favorite of mine. And if it ever becomes important, I'm gonna just throw my books everywhere. I have a first edition copy of The Hunger Games. It's not signed or anything, so it's not that cool. And I don't think anyone really cares about first editions of The Hunger Games. But if they did, I have one. This is nobody's favorite book. I am surprised that this book looks as good as it does, because back home in Baltimore, in my childhood home, there are not one, but two dents in my wall from where I threw this book in anger after I got it in its nice little pristine box, pre-ordered, and I was just so excited. I didn't care that it was a school night, and I stayed up all night reading this book. I think you can guess the 2 parts that I threw it at the wall at. I need a whole separate shelf for vampire books. L.J. Smith was my shit. There was a summer where I think I just, literally this was all I read. All I read was L.J. Smith books. So, of the L.J. Smith books that I still own, because it's not as many as I wish it was, I have Night World Volume 2. This is a whole book. This is, Dark Visions. I have read this book a bajillion times. Guys, I did buy Night World Volume 1. I knew it. I knew I had it. Cool. Alright, so L.J. Smith also wrote, I got some of these books. Where are they? Where are they at? The Vampire Diaries. I need a whole shelf just for, and I don't even have all the books anymore. I did not get most of these back. I had the whole series at one point, but I also had a really great library that always had them in stock. The Scott Westerfield books, which is coming out with a new one in this series. I don't know how I feel about it. I am very skeptical. I just don't know. But I'm excited. I'm probably gonna read it. Eventually, I'll get around to it. Cool. So the thing that I hate about my Scott Westerfield books, though, is they're all different sizes and they don't look nice together on the shelf. I'm missing pretties. That I definitely gave to a friend and never ever got back. Same friend that dropped my copy of New Moon in a puddle and then tried to tell me she didn't, so if you're watching this, you know who you are. Do I really just have Breaking Dawn? No, this looks like another Twilight book. Yeah, I have Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. I don't think I still have my copy of Twilight. I don't think I still have my copy of New Moon either, because it got dropped in a puddle. Riordan books. Oh boy. I have so many random, I honestly, I have no explanation for the books that I still have and the ones that I don't. So I have not one, but 2 very beat up copies of The Lightning Thief, and one copy of Sea of Monsters that feels like someone washed it. It's like, oh, it's rough, guys. It's rough. These books were not originally mine, but my brother actually read them first and was like, you gotta read these series, you gotta read these series. And I was like, alright, fine, whatever. So I did, and I absolutely, dear God, I loved them. I still love them. They're just fun reads. If you haven't read them, it's 2018. There's still more books, not in this exact series. And then I have Son of Neptune, but I don't have the first book in the Heroes of Olympus series. And then I have House of Hades. I'll be honest, guys, I haven't read it. I read, God, which one was it? The Mark of Athena, and I hated it, and it just, I couldn't, I still have this book. This book isn't mine, Kathy, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Anyway, we're gonna put these on the shelf. One day, Kathy, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna give this book back to you. The Maximum Ride books. Funny story about the Maximum Ride books. I found these books by accident. By the time I found them, the fourth book had just come out. I was in 5th grade, and I had to do a book report regarding the environment. I don't know if you all remember the plot of book 4 in the Maximum Ride series, but there's like a natural disaster. I think it's a hurricane. And I read that in the description. I was like, boom, this is my book for my book report. Witch and Wizard. Another James Patterson series. It's not gonna go with my James Patterson books. I did not. Kids on an island. Prisoners. Murder. That's all I remember. Read this in high school. Yeah. Mysterious Island. Kids kill each other. Government is evil. A good dystopian book. Fun. I think there's more in the series. I only read this one. Ultraviolet. Look, it's so shiny. I've read this book a bajillion times too. I think I got this book in middle school at like a book fair, probably. It's like mental illness and aliens. I'm just gonna, don't mind me, keep playing with this book. I just really enjoy it. I think it's a fun story. The first time I read it, I didn't see the twist coming, but that also might have been the age I was. But most of the story takes place in a mental hospital. It's definitely like a YA, like, sci-fi book. But a good part of it feels contemporary. It's not, though. But anyway, I love this book. Going on the shelf. Next book we have is Alice in Zombieland. I do know that there are more books in this series. I think this is the only one I read. Anna Dressed in Blood. I love this book. This book was recommended to me by a friend, and I read it, and I absolutely adore it. I have not read all of Kendall Blake's books. I've read a few of them. This still is one of my absolute favorites on the shelf. Monstrumologist. I started reading this book. I got really excited. I really, really wanted to read this book. I thought I was going to love it. I think I got maybe, yeah, I got like 50 pages in, and it didn't hook me. I should go back and give it another chance. This would be The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I read this book and the second book, First Life. This book, another dystopian type of book. YA, of course. Love triangle, of course. I loved it. And last but not least, which is a shame, but this is the last book. This last book is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. This is one of her YA books, so it's under Victoria Schwab. Her young adult books and her adult books, her adult books are under V.E. Schwab. I love all of her books. I have another one of her books that I just finished reading a couple weeks ago, Savage Song. I'm going to get Our Dark Duet when I get paid again, hopefully. She also wrote one of my favorite series of all time right now, the Darker Shade of Magic series. I also absolutely adore Vicious. I have the rest of her books on my Kindle. I greatly, greatly adore them. Is the end of my bookshelf unpacking. Guys, I got most of it to fit. I have to put these books back. That's right. These need home, guys. I forgot. I got a little bit of space. They're gonna go down here. I guess guess you can go here. Guys, I actually have more books that I forgot I took off my shelf to make space, and I don't know where they're going now. But it's alright. The fun part is done. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more nerdy book stuff with yours truly, then please like and subscribe in the link below, and I hope you come back next week.